Hi everyone, just before we start I would say if you could bear with me, this is the first one of these I've ever done, so I don't really know how it's going to go, but we'll see. This is the Python basics and I'm going to explain one of the exercises and how I would go about tackling it. Okay, so the exercise I want to cover is in week 3 and it's the areas of rectangles. The brief is: write a program that asks for the length and width of two rectangles. The program should tell the user which rectangle has the greater area or if the areas are the same. The reason I've chosen this exercise is because it covers the following topics that have been covered throughout the previous weeks. This includes a print function, variables, input functions, and if statements. So let's begin. I would just mention that I'm writing my code in Visual Studio Code and running it through the terminal. And this little green comment up the top here just lets the terminal know that I'm running Python. So, before starting, I always ask myself, what do I need to know? And how do I find it out, basically? So I need to know the length and width of each rectangle. And the brief states we need to get the length and width of each rectangle from the user. So I want to create 4 variables. Just for the sake of this video, I want to call them length 1, width 1, length 2, and width 2. And these are going to be my variables. In order for me to get the values from the user, we're going to use the input function along with some speech to let them know what they need to be inputting. Otherwise they could input anything. So just for the sake of this video, I'm going to put length 1, and I forgot my speech. And because I'm a lazy developer, I'm just going to copy and paste. I think you'll find a lot of your future code, once you've written a few things, will be a lot of copy and paste. So now this will ask the user for 4 inputs, which will work out as the length and width of both rectangles. So using these, we're going to create 2 more variables because we need to know the areas of each rectangle. And to work out the area, as we know, is just width times length. So I'm going to do length 1, which will be the length of the first rectangle, asterisk, which represents times width 1. And the same for area 2. So length 2, asterisks represent times width 2. So this will give us the area of both rectangles and assigned those values to these variables. So now we're going to work out which is largest using if statements. So if, first one I'm going to do is area 1. Using the operators, I'm going to say if area 1 is larger than area 2, run the below statements. I'm just going to put print for the sake of this. I'm just going to put rect1 bigger, so let's say rectangle 1 is bigger. Now if that's not true, we're going to go on the next one, and to do this use elif. So if the first one's not true, check it to see if this one's true. And I'm just going to completely reverse it. Area 2 bigger than area 1. Now that print command. Rect2 is bigger. But it also says in a brief state if they are the same size, which is a possibility. So I'll do one more. This one always used to get me this operator. So area 1 equals again to say is it the same. Area 2. Don't forget my colon. Now run these. I'm just going to use print again. And then this time I'm just going to say same, just for the sake of this. So if we save this, and then run, oh, clear. So length 1, I'm going to put 2, width 1, 2. So this, we know because the values are so low, that this is 4. So, or 4 squared, depending on what the measurement actually is. So length, I'm going to put 3, width 2, 3. So we know rectangle 2 is bigger, just from simple maths. So we'll test the other one. So we'll test that rectangle 1 is bigger. So we'll switch the values round. So 3, 3, 2, 2. Rec 1's bigger. So the code is actually working. And then the final test, we will just test to see what would state if they are the same size. So 2, 2. So rectangle 1 has got an area of 4 squared, and we're going to do the same for, and it gives us the correct input. Once you get a bit more advanced, you can start to add extra things in to make it more user friendly. Which I can show you a piece of code that the one I actually did, which looks a lot more complex. So if I can navigate to this folder. There it is. Again, because I'm lazy, I'm copying and pasting. So this one, please enter the length of rectangle 1 in centimeters. So I'm going to say 2. Thank you. Now please enter the width of rectangle 1 in centimeters. So I'm going to say 2 again. Now we need the measurements of the second rectangle. Please enter all these are as print commands, just in between, just to make it a bit more user friendly. Please enter the length of rectangle 2 in centimeters. So I'm going to 3. Thank you. Now please enter the width of rectangle 2 in centimeters. Now I'm going to say 3 again. And this little calculating bit, just to make it more user friendly. Rectangle has the largest area. The breakdown are as follows. Rectangle 1 has an area of 4 centimeters, so it actually prints out the calculations, which I can show you here. And that's one thing I should mention. When you use a print command, if you're going to break it down, if you're putting values in along with strings, you need to change the value into a string with the str and then brackets, and then put your variable in there. You can just say here, and then you can do plus or even the comma. So there's more than one way to do things. It's an important thing to remember. So the calculating part, all I did was, I personally actually think you only need to import the time once, but I just did it because it just makes it easier for me to read. So print blank, just to put a little gap in the space here. Print calculating, import the time, times sleep. So it'll just sleep for 1 second. And then that's all it was. That's why it seemed to delay as it was printed out. So there you have it. There's the exercise for the rectangle comparison. If you've got any questions or you'd like to know anything more in detail, just give us a shout or just drop something on the group wall and I'll be happy to help. Thank you.